I better not be on that screen.
Good.
We're good?
Yep.
Excellent. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes.
Good job.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, thank you, Bart. Anything else? All right, and then we move into the primary order of business today, the bylaws, rules, procedures. So in the packet is comments from various CDA members. I think the best way to do this is to go through these comments, discuss, determine, you know, their implications and provide direction to staff as to whether and how to incorporate these various comments. So unless somebody has a better approach, that's the way we're gonna go through this. Pete, let's just go in order of the way they're on this sheet on page 3. So Pete, I don't know, maybe you just wanna go through your 4 that you're calling out, just to provide us any context or clarification.
Sure. The first one is just basically a grammatical item under 2B.
Provide, you know, provision of instead of provide.
Yeah. So
Okay.
just put them in the same tense,
Yep,
basically.
Okay, so,
Didn't Andrea have something on that too? Same provision?
Yeah, but.
yep. Again, I think we can, grammatical stuff, let's not spend a lot of time on those. I hear what you're saying, that just keep it
Oh, I
consistent.
I think staff can do what.
Yeah. Agreed.
To do that, fine. So then, the other thing about general powers and duties of the CDA, the only reference, I believe, to non-TIF and non-redevelopment is in F, which says only preparation and administration of business recruitment and retention assistance programs. And I think that there's a side of what the CDA has typically done that's more than administer those programs would be the loan program, maybe the facade program. But they basically, I believe, within their roles has been to facilitate all of the retail development. And so I would say it's more than administrating of those 2 programs. I'd say it's more like the overall facilitation of
Isn't it all CDA approved programs?
of CDA.
I don't think
Well,
we-
I would, to me, the 3 things that got left out in terms of how I would in programs are not left out, but it's the non-developmental programs are recruitment, retail recruitment and retention, developer recruitment, which is a more aggressive form of going after redevelopment. And there's nothing in here about our housing authority, our prospective housing authority powers and activities.
Hey, Peter,
Yes,
when we set up the TIFs and the transfers, there was that 3rd clause, I think this is what you're getting at, where it says the other duties of, so when we changed over in the MOU and we transferred over that 835, all the things you're mentioning, we might wanna just lift that language, because it said, you know, and for other duties like developer recruitment, retail recruitment. I'm just making a suggestion that maybe that's the language you wanna use to be consistent?
yes, that might make sense. And then specifically kind of say maybe including administration of the loan program and the facade program. So that those don't get left out, but those are all under the umbrella of those broader duties, in my opinion.
I would recommend that we not be specific on programs. I mean, this is the bylaws. We may at some point not have a loan program or other programs. I think the point is to say we will facilitate all CDA and or village board approved programs
I think
that
that
are,
makes
that
sense. I
are,
think that
that
makes
are under
sense.
their,
That kinda
under our
covers
purview.
everything.
Yeah, I think we need to be more generic.
And, I mean, up in the preamble, we have
Right.
included but not limited to,
Yes.
so even if something's omitted, it doesn't mean this doesn't cut us out of activity, so.
So I just think it's, the other things are very specifically mentioned, the things having to do with TIS and redevelopment. And, it's like these other things are an afterthought. And I think those are basically tending to be our future, more of our future main programs. So I just,
Agreed, but again, these are, to me, these are, again, bylaws and rules of procedure, which, again, are, I mean, we list those other activities and other documents that we have. This, to me, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but I always think about this as sort of the forever document that guides what we do. So it needs to be permanent, and I think the TID stuff is sort of a permanent part of what we do, but the other programs we have, I think, can change and flux over time. So I would be hesitant to, in this document, call out those other programs.
But if you, I would just, you're saying that, in other words, an app, that facilitation should be added, and it should be, it should cover like all,
CDA approved
programs.
programs.
Yeah. That makes sense. And it covers everything.
Are you okay with that, Pete?
I'll just say one more thing. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think in the past, questioning of authority of the CDA has many times been, are they the ones that are really approved to do this stuff? As opposed to, I mean, what's been questioned is the breadth of the scope rather than the narrowness. So that's my only thinking here, that it's a quick way to answer that stuff, if you said not limited to. But I'm okay with the other approach to it, because there are other documents.
Okay. So we were saying, 2F, to state it more generally, that it is,
Right.
operation, administration, facilitation of CDA approved programs.
You know, is that a approved program though, like, business recruitment and, we do it, and we, we have the pamphlets that we made that one time for developer recruitment, and give them to all the we hosted that real estate thing, but is it really adopted program? I just wanna be careful, it's not a program, it's more of just like activities.
The heading is duties, powers and duties.
I just said that the approved program, I don't know where it's
I
approved.
hear what you're saying, yeah.
Okay.
It could be activity or duties or fulfilling.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Program and duties, would be fine.
Then we don't have to define program.
Or sorry, I'm just going through this as or do we keep the specific reference to business recruitment and retention, and then also make reference to other CDA approved
Activity.
activities?
Yeah, that's good.
Well,
Duties
maybe you
and,
wanna just look at that language, cause I think it accurately reflects it, because we do business recruitment, but we also do developer recruitment, right?
Yep.
So you could just easily say business and developer recruitment, or something like
Yep,
that.
yep.
It's not really a program that's been adopted,
I
but
would
it's an
agree with
activity.
that. Yes, I would agree with that. Are you okay with
Now,
that? Sorry?
so then where do we address housing
Right.
authority kinds of things
Yep.
in here?
I think because,
I don't know if it's.
Well, it's in the statutes that were
Yeah.
so, I don't know that that
Looking at-
bothers me, I mean.
Yeah.
It kind of bothers me. I'd like to see it in a document like Pete, because I feel like since we have a little bit of consensus that we're gonna do something on housing coming up in the future, it would be nice if the bylaws at least referenced it.
there's no reason we can't add it just says act as village's housing authority, right?
Okay.
Per
As-
statute.
As G,
Yeah.
per statute.
Or according to statute.
we need a future agenda item to figure out what that is.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
yep.
Because there's, well, there's been, some confusion in the past. For example, the village board actually developed the only housing program that we have, which is the loan program.
Yep.
Do we have any control?
And,
over that?
beg your pardon?
I don't know what the CD's role, do we have a role, CDA in that at all? Do we?
Well,
Yeah. We approve the,
we should have, it's implied that we have by the fact that we are that. But then it got really confusing. They developed it and they gave it at one time, Erica came to us at one time and said, we want you to review it. And so we went through that neighborhood program and the loan program, and there were some comments by the CDA about it's so low risk and
okay, well, we can, I think that's an item definitely to revisit
yeah.
at a future meeting, but for purposes of this document, can I just go back and confirm 2F? I believe you were saying preparation and administration of business and developer recruitment and retention assistance programs as well as other CDA approved,
Activities.
excuse me, assistance activities as well as CDA approved programs. Or do you wanna say activities on that too?
But what would be wrong, what would be the
And then adding,
problem with adding a G that says serves as the?
yes, I was, yep, getting to that. And
Yeah.
then
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, that's fine. Act as housing authority per statute. Act as village's housing authority per statute is G.
And can you just find out what that statute number is?
Okay. So, Pete, just to go through, you have 3G developer recruitment 2, did you mean, was that in 3 or was that part of 2? Were you saying business?
I just thought we should get it in there somewhere.
Yep, so I think we do have that in there now.
Yeah, I think,
Under 2F, and then housing, and then we have housing authority as well, correct? So,
Yes.
so we've addressed your 4,
Yeah,
okay?
And just going back to that, maybe staff can just look at the language from that MOU, make sure it's kind of
I did,
consistent.
yep. Okay. Trustee McKay,
Mhm.
sorry, this is which, I was trying to know where this was.
That's, I was
Presiding
typing
officers,
this note
yes.
and I wasn't looking at the document, so the officers, let's see, oh, under 3, presiding officers,
Yes,
I always assumed that I know the CDA, reports to the village board on some, in some level and, is connected that way, and I just always assumed that we would not have a, elected official serve as an officer, just to share the leadership between the community. But I also understand the reason for having it start with the village board and then, as the president, and then having the president make that decision to not be, a presiding officer. So, I'd never really thought about it until we had seen the, sample bylaws from other communities. So I don't know sort of what I'm saying either way, but it just caught my eye as like, oh, that seems like a big decision, and I'm not sure of the wording. But I've always appreciated that it's been a resident, that residents have served as law officers on the CDA, appointed citizens, yeah, rather than elected officials.
I'm a little confused what you're saying. This one affects me, so I want
Exactly. Right. So,
I mean,
okay.
if I were on it, I would serve as the chair.
yes,
Right.
correct.
But I'm not on it, so I don't serve as the chair. So right now, your body elects the chair.
Right.
So
Which means that it could be a trustee.
No, it can't, can
I think that's the question.
it? I didn't
Okay.
take it like that.
I would probably prefer that
I
it
was
not
just
be.
looking, I was just looking at the original resolution establishing the CDA back in the 90s, and it does say this is the Shorewood resolution, that, point 7, qualified resident persons to serve as commissioners. 2 commissioners shall be members of the village board, and whenever the village president shall serve as commissioner of the authority, shall act as chairperson. Otherwise, the chairperson of the authority shall be elected from among the commissioners of the authority by the majority of the commissioners. Commissioners being members of the CDA.
So
Which doesn't
So I don't know
preclude,
whether that's because of whether the underlying state statute says that has to be that way, but anyway, in 1993, that's what the trustees of the village of Shorewood said when they created the CDA.
And it was created by ordinance, is that correct?
By resolution.
The resolution number 93-14 of 1993, creating the CDA, has in its provisions that if one of the appointed commissioners is the village president, then the village president will be the commissioner of the authority.
And if he's not,
keep going.
If he's not, it's elected from the
It's voted.
So it
other
could be a
commissioners
trustee.
by the majority of the commissioners, yeah.
So if we wanted to say, could be elected from the, other members, one could say from the other non-trustee members.
Citizen members or whatever.
Well, the trustees
guess-
are
I guess
citizens, you gotta be
Right, but
careful of that one
non-elected.
too.
Non-elected.
so if we, how many,
It's never come up.
no,
Right,
how many, how many CDA members do we have? Is it 7? Okay, I didn't want to get that wrong because
That's
the word
the
7.
number.
So if we did have more officers, right now we just have those 2, right? But if we had more, then you might have to pull in, I guess they don't have to be the president, but you might have to pull in a trustee to be,
Right, but
Or
we're
the
not
pres-
adopting anything that would indicate more, because the
The resolution
secretary
says,
right?
is staff and the executive director. In our community, we have the ability, we have staff that can serve as those
Mhm.
officers, which I think is ideal. Some communities may not have that, and so it would be a more volunteer position. So
is there,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna ask, is on other commissions and committees, is there any clarity on whether, because there's village board representation and
Right, they're all
others-
liaison, we're ex officio
Okay, so you're not,
members. Yeah, so this is the
Liaison,
yeah.
liaisons, yeah,
Okay.
so plan and CDA are the only ones I know of that the
Are your
trustees are
official sitting?
voting members, yeah.
and is there anything in, you said planning?
Plan
Any
commission.
clarity there as to whether a board member can be the
Well,
presiding?
in planning commission, it must be the president.
Oh, it does, okay.
Yeah, the
So that
chairman,
might
but,
be
and that's
the
by
issue.
statute.
Okay,
So, you know, and because CBA has its own governing statutes, it doesn't necessarily have to be similar. You know, I've been in communities where the trustee has been the chairman, you know, I've also been in a community where the majority of the CDA was the board. I've been where
Mhm.
it hasn't been at all.
Mhm.
So it's really, you know, what's tough is that you can never gauge from the pool of people that
To
you
know,
have in front
yeah.
of you at the time
right.
that you
Right.
have it.
That's why I don't wanna be too specific,
Exactly right,
situation.
yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it can be done all sorts of ways, it just really depends on
I mean, if the board, if the
the
chair,
community.
if President Johnson could be the chair, I don't know then why a trustee couldn't, not that, I don't think the board, I mean, the committee would probably not, would probably tend to be for residents as we have in the past, but he's elected, the president's
It,
elected.
it could affect, the president's decision on whether or not to become chair.
It
if
could.
That would,
Oh, right.
and that could be either negative or positive too.
Right.
Everything can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So I guess it's a board decision though.
Do we want a hard and fast rule that a trustee can never be a chair?
yeah, and I don't, my personal opinion is, I don't, again, we can't predict the future.
So
I
why?
think, yeah, I'm not sure, yeah, why are we,
Yeah,
we haven't really had an issue in the past, that's not to say we can't have an issue in the future, but why? What would be the justification to need
Exactly.
to do that? I don't really see,
I
I hear what
thought,
you're saying about making sure there's shared leadership and all that.
yeah, and I just thought it's a chance to kind of state, a community value around, citizen leadership
Yeah.
and sharing that, and I think Shorewood's a little unique in that we really highly value it. That said, you know, if we get to a place where this wouldn't work for us, we've got bigger problems than, you know, a bylaw. So, you know, it's all in the implementation. So I am comfortable, I wanted to have a discussion
No, it's a
about
good-
it,
it's a-
because I thought it was a, you know, sort of a decision point where Shorewood, I think, is, a unique community, and that we have such a high level of leadership and talent in the community that we could, I don't think we'd have a shortage of people that were capable of holding those offices. And so why not embrace that and move forward? However, given that these are bylaws that are closely linked to statute and consistency between municipalities and all that, I think it makes sense to be more general then, and sort of start at that place, and then,
Well, it would certainly be easier to solve now than it would be to solve if it occurred.
it's true.
Unless the-
That's true.
I mean, this is the default, basically.
Right, as a default, I think that it's okay to have it as a default, I just wanted to bring it up so that we were consciously making a decision, because it has been, leadership and power has been questioned, we're in a time of questioning, so.
Are there scenarios,
Vote them, don't you have to vote it, the members would have to vote the person they want as president with a majority.
Well, the president could,
He could step in and become a member, I guess.
no, you could
No.
appoint yourself chair.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
that's why one of the two, yeah.
Well, no, you'd have to be a member of the city, yeah, the chair. But I'm just saying, in absence of that, if you were okay with that, say we sat around the table today, say today was officer election day for the year, and we voted, you know, trustee McKay, if all of the members sitting around the table, you know, a majority said, yeah, we absolutely think she'd be the best chairman, the president, of course, can say, no, I don't think so, and he can step in and take that role. Is that?
I suppose, but
I'm just saying, but otherwise, why would that be a problem if the board, if your committee feels that would be the right, yeah, I mean, isn't that?
Is there,
and right now it's allowed
yeah,
because of the way the resolution, the original resolution is worded, it doesn't say non-elected.
I'm curious, is there, just again, trying to think of scenarios, would it be, is there a scenario where if none of the other non-elected members